Hello viewers, welcome back to Duflux. In this video I will be dealing with the solutions to get to into electrical engineering questions that came from subject signal systems. So basically 7 questions came from signal systems, and in this video I will be going to deal with the first question number 20 according to master question paper of K225 electrical engineering from the subject signal systems of 1 mark MCQ type. And the question goes like, consider discrete time linear time invariant LTI system S where y of n equal to s of x of n. S of delta n is given as 1 0 such that n belongs to 1 for n belongs to 0 1 2 and 0 otherwise. तो इसमें लिखा हुआ है पूछा है where delta n is the discrete time unit impulse function. For an input signal xn, the output yn is option A xn plus xn minus 1 plus xn minus 2, option B xn minus 1 plus xn plus xn plus 1, option C xn plus xn plus 1 plus xn plus 2, option D xn plus 1 plus xn plus 2 plus xn plus 3. Moving on to solution for this question. Basically S system, discrete time linear time unit system, DT-LTI system, which if the delta input is given, it is equal to 1 for n equal to 0 1 2 and 0 otherwise, right? So we can write the impulse function, impulse response function of discrete time linear time invariant DT-LTI system S as, how can you write Hn, h of n, as for giving the delta input, on giving the delta input discrete time unit impulse function, the output is 1 for n equal to 0 1 2. So the impulse function, response function will be delta of n plus, for this will be 1 for n equal to 0. Now it will be 1 for n equal to 1. So we will have another term delta of n minus 1. This term will be 1 for n equal to 1, and also for n equal to 2 there will be another term. So it will be delta of n minus 2. So this will be basically the impulse response function of the discrete time linear time unit system S, right? According to the definition given here in the question. Now for any given input signal xn, the output yn will be output. Simply you have to do convolution of hn with discrete time convolution of hn with the given input xn, right? So what do we get? Delta n plus delta n minus 1 plus delta n minus 2 convolution with xn. Now from the properties of using the properties of discrete time convolution and of the discrete time unit impulse function, the property of shifting and this, we get delta n converted with xn gives xn. Delta n minus 1 converted with xn gives xn minus 1. And delta n minus 2 converted with xn gives xn minus 2. So this is basically the output yn. xn plus xn minus 1 plus xn minus 2 for any given input signal xn for the discrete time linear time unit system as given, definition given. So the correct answer for this question matches with the option in A, right? I explained the basic steps of approaching the question based on the discrete time linear time unit system, using the definition of the system and the properties of discrete time unit impulse function and discrete time convolution. Hope the solution is clear. That's all for the solution. Thank you. Hello viewers, moving on to the next question in the series of Get to Electrical Solutions from subject Signal Systems. In this video we will be dealing with the video solution in detail to the question number 22 of the master question paper of Get to Electrical Engineering from subject Signal Systems of 1 mark MCQ type. The question is given as select data points of the system step response of a first or stable first order linear time events LTI system are shown below. The closest value of the time constant in seconds of the system is. Table is given of time versus output 0.6, 0.78, 1.6, 1.65, 2.6, 2.18, 10, 2.98, infinite 3. And the options are given as A, 1, B, 2, C, 3 and D, 4. Let's move on to the solution to this question. It is simple. There is no basic definition of time constant. Time constant tau of a system. How is it defined? कैसे define करते हैं? The time taken to reach by the system output to reach 100 into 1 minus 1 by e is nearly equal to 63.2% of its steady state output. Steady state output value. What is the steady state output value here? 3. That is, let's say y the output. Let output equal to y. So y of t. So y of infinity is given as 3. So time constant will be time t equal to tau such that this will be 63.2% of its steady state value, that is 3. 63.2 by 100 into 3 is nearly equal to point, I think 1.896, nearly equal to 1.9. Right. Now in the data points given in the tabular format, we don't have any such output value 1.9. So what we will do, we will interpolate. 1.9 lies between 1.65 and 2.18, somewhere in between. So the time constant tau will also lie somewhere in between these two outputs, 1.6 and 2.6. Now we have to eliminate and the options and choose the correct one. From the options we can see the option that falls between 1.6 and 2.6 is not 1, 2, not 3 and not 4. So for the output to reach 63.2% of its steady state value, that is 3 in this case, that is 1.9. The time taken would be somewhere between 1.6 and 2.6, let's say 2 from the options, and that may be a probable value of the time constant as nothing else is given. So to do the interpolation for 1.9 value of the output and find the time accordingly, time constant which is equal to time constant, which can be said to be 2 in this case. This is option B. I explained the basic approach using the definition of time constant for first order time invariant system. The solution is clear, and that's all for the solution. Thank you. Hello viewers. So moving on to the next question in the series of Get to Electrical Engineering Solutions from subject Signals and Systems. In this video we will be covering the solution to question number 21 of 1 mark MCQ type. According to the master question paper of Get to Electrical Engineering from the subject Signals and Systems. So the question goes like, consider continuous time signal x of t equal to minus t square into u of t plus 4 minus u of t minus 4, where u of t is the continuous time unit step function. Let delta t be the continuous time unit impulse function. The value of integration minus infinity to infinity x of t delta of t plus 3 dt is options given as a minus 9, b 9, c 3 and d minus 3. So pretty simple question based on the shifting property of the continuous time impulse function, unit impulse function and step function is equal. So let's move on to solution. This question. according to the definition given, first let's plot x of t. X of t equal to minus t square u of t plus 4 minus u of t minus 1. This means that x of t exists for this window from minus 4 to 4. Right? T minus 4 equal to 0, so t equal to 4, t plus 4 equal to 0, so t equal to minus 4. It exists for only this window, and it will be in what? In this window it is equal to minus t square for this, and 0 otherwise. 0 otherwise. Right? So basically it will look something like this. Parabolic basically, ठीक है ना? Minus t square. So it will be minus 16 x of t is t. I know the definition given, this definition. ठीक है? Now we have to evaluate this integral. Minus infinity to infinity x of t delta of t plus 3 dt. Using the shifting property involving this continuous time unit impulse function, this becomes what? If we equate this to 0, t plus 3 equal to 0, we get t equal to minus 3. We have to simply put t equal to minus 3 in the definition of xt, and the integral vanishes. As limits of minus infinity to infinity, minus 3 is already included in this range, so we will just take out x of minus 3. It's called a shifting property. Now from this graph, what will be the value of x of minus 3? Somewhere around here. So minus, it will be nothing but minus of minus 3 square. It is minus 9. Right? So the value of this integral will be minus 9 using the shifting property, and also using the definition of xt given, continuous time signal xt. So the correct answer for this question is basically option A, minus 9. This is a form evaluated it using the simple properties of shifting property of the unit time impulse function, continuous time impulse function, and unit step function definition for xt. Hope the solution is clear and comprehensible. If you still have any doubts or queries regarding this simple solution, as you can see, please feel free to ask in the comments, and I will be glad to answer. That's all for solution to this question. Thank you. Hello viewers. Moving on to the next question, this is a gate electrical solution for subject given systems. In this video, we will be covering the detailed video solution to question number 30, according to the master question from gate to electrical engineering signal system subject of 1 mark, numerical answer type NAT. And the question goes like this: continuous time periodic signal x of t is x of t equal to 1 plus 2 cos 2 by t plus 2 cos 4 by t plus 2 cos 6 by t. Right? If t is the period of x of t, then 1 by t integration of 0 to t x of t on whole square dt is equal to round of the nearest integer. Let's move to solution to this question. So basically, what does this signify? For periodic signal having period time period t, capital T, this signifies basically what? The power of the signal. Power of xt. Now the power of xt can be calculated simply by taking the square of the RMS values of the different components and adding. So we can, the DC term power is 1 square. The power of the 2 by t term having frequency 2 by frequency 1, angular frequency 2 by will be what? Vm square by 2. It is 2 square by 2. Again for this term, again we have the RMS value as square RMS square value. the sum of the RMS square values. So it will be basically 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, that is 7. So this expression, which is nothing but the power of the signal x of t, periodic signal, you can find it simply by taking the RMS squared values of the different frequency components. For DC term it is 1 square, for the AC terms it is maximum values square by 2, and by adding the powers in the different frequency components, we get the net power, total power of x of t, which is the required quantity, as 7, which is already an integer, so no need to round it off. So the answer to this question is 7. Hope the solution is clear and comprehensible. If you still have doubts or queries, please feel free to ask in the comments. I solved using the basic properties of power of a periodic signal. That's all for this session. Thank you. So hello viewers, moving on to the next question in the series of GATE 2025 electrical engineering solutions from subject signal systems. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 40, the master question for GATE 2025 electrical engineering from subject signal systems of 2 marks MCQ type. And the question is given as: let continuous time signals x of 1 of t and x2 of t be. X1 of t is defined as 1 for t belongs to 0 to 1, 2 minus t for t belongs to 1 to 2, 0 otherwise. X2 is defined as t for t belongs to 0 to 1, 2 minus t for t belongs to 1 to 2, and 0 otherwise. Consider the convolution y of t equal to x1 of t convolution x to t. Then integration of minus infinity to infinity y of t dt is, the options are given as a 1.5, b 2.5, c 3.5, and d 4. Let's move on to solution to this question. A trick will be used basically related to the continuous time convolution of 2 signals. So let's explore that. How can that be done? Basically, y of t is given as the convolution of 2 signals x1t and x2t. We can write this in time domain as, using the integration form as minus infinity to infinity x1 of tau x2 of t minus tau d tau. Now we are required to find the integration of minus infinity to infinity y of t dt. That is minus infinity to infinity, again minus infinity to infinity x1 tau x2 t minus tau d tau, and then dt. Now if you look at this carefully, this integration simplifies to the product of the integrations like this: x1 of tau d tau and x2 of t dt. This is a running integral, and for the whole range of minus infinity to infinity, this is same as this, these two. It's multiplication. This is a speciality, I mean the uniqueness, or say yeah. So this is nothing but the area under x1 t. Similarly, this is nothing but area under x2 t. Let's find the, first plot the graphs of x1 t and x2 t and find their areas. The product of the areas will be the area of y of t. This is now what? Area of y of t is here. Area of y of t, of area under y of t, area under y of t. So what we can do, we can plot basically x1t and x2t like this. This will be nothing but x1t. Similarly, you can plot x2t. using basically the definitions given. This is the definition given for x1t, this is the definition given for x2t. Using these definitions, you can plot x1t and x2t. Right? Let's find the area. This area. This is simply a trapezium. This is simply a triangle. Area, this area will be what? Half into base into height. So half into base is 2, height is 1. So 1. And this area will be what? Half into sum of parallel sides. This is the parallel side and this one is the parallel side. Right? These are the parallel sides. So it will be half into sum of parallel sides. This length is 1, this length is 2. Sum of parallel sides into height. Distance between the parallel sides. What is it then in this case? 1. So it will be half into 3 into 1, that is 1.5. So the area under x1t is 1.5 and the area under x2t is 1. So the area under y of t is integration minus infinity to y of t dt will be equal to what? The product of the areas under x1t and x2t, which will be equal to 1.5 into 1, that is again 1.5. So using the property that the area under the convolution of two functions is the product of their areas of the individual functions, and also showing it mathematically using the steps, we obtained the answer to the question as 1.5, which matches the option A. Right, pretty simple question based on this property of convolution, integration of the convolution function. I have tried to explain it and also solve it in detail. Hope it is clear and comprehensible. If you still have any doubts or queries, please feel free to ask in the comments. And that's all for solution to this question. Thank you. Hello viewers, moving on to the next question. This is of GATE 2025 Electrical Engineering Solutions from subject Signal Systems. This time we will discuss the detailed solution to question number 42. This is 2 marks MCQ type from subject Signal Systems that appeared in GATE 2025 Electrical Engineering. So the question is given as the continuous time unit impulse signal is applied as an input to a continuous time linear time variant system S. The output is observed to be the continuous time unit step signal u of t. Which one of the following statements is true? Option A, every bounded input signal applied to S results in a bounded output signal. Option B, it is possible to find a bounded input signal which when applied to S results in an unbounded output signal S. Option C, on applying any input signal to S, the output signal is always bounded. Option D, on applying any input signal to S, the output signal is always unbounded. So let's discuss the options one by one. Let's move on to solution to this question. Okay. It is given for the continuous unit time unit impulse signal when it is given to the continuous time linear time invariant system S. That is for S if the unit impulse signal, that is delta t, is applied as the input. What do we get the output as? U of t, the unit step function, unit step signal. So basically delta t produces u of t. Right. Delta t produces u of t. What is right? Now, so the impulse response function is what? If you, so let's say it is h of t for this system S, impulse response function. Right? Now h of t is convolved with delta t. What do we get? Any function when convolved with the unit impulse function gives the same signal. in this case h of t. So if this is the input, this is the impulse response, and this should be the output. Input, impulse response, impulse response, input, output. So basically h of t is, what do we get? H of t equal to ut, u of t, unit step signal. Because when the unit step signal is converted to the input signal, which is the unit impulse signal, we get back the unit step signal at the output. So the impulse response is basically this unit step signal. Now we'll check the options one by one. Okay? Every bounded input signal applied to us results in a bounded output signal. Now, for any bounded input signal, say x of t, let x of t is the standard input signal applied in each case. Okay, the output signal you get it is y of t. How do you get it? By convolving, carrying out the convolution, continuous time convolution of x of t with the impulse response. Impulse response, as we already calculated, it is nothing but the unit step function, unit step signal. Right. Now, every bounded input signal, let's say we apply x of t as, for option A, for verifying option A, for this one, let's say we apply the input as x of t as u of t only, unit step signal only. So, what do we get the output as? Y of t equal to u of t convolution u of t. If you calculate it from the basic knowledge of convolution, it is nothing more TUT, or ramp, unit ramp signal. Now TUT is not bounded, unbounded signal like this. It goes up to infinity or t equal to infinity. Right? So it is unbounded now. This is unbounded. Not bounded. Not bounded, basically unbounded signal. Right? Every bounded signal is bounded. No. Not bounded. It's not bounded. Next. Option B, let's check. It is possible to find a bounded input signal which when applied to us results in unbounded output signal is. Bounded input signal in this case was this unit step signal u of t, such that we got the output signal as y of t, which is TUT, that is, which is unbounded. So option B is satisfied. Option A is not satisfied. That means option B is satisfied, as we are finding the output to be unbounded, TUT to be unbounded for when the bounded input signal, which is the unit step signal, is applied to us. So option B is correct. Now let's check the other options as well, C and D. When applying any unit, any input signal to S, the output is always bounded. Any input signal to S, output is always bounded. No? Again, this is like proved wrong by taking the input as unit step signal, which is any input signal, output is not bounded, output is unbounded. So from A also you can infer that C is wrong, as A is wrong. So C is also not satisfied. And lastly, on applying any input signal to S, the output signal is always unbounded. This is also not true. Let's take another case for verifying option D. Let's take the input as the decaying exponential signal starting from t equal to 0. In this case, y of t will be equal to convolution of u of t with to the power minus t u of t. To calculate it by taking the Laplace inverse and all, you can calculate the Laplace inverse of u of t is 1 by s and this is 1 by s plus 1. So basically this will be Laplace inverse of 1 by s minus 1 by s plus 1. Right. So basically y of t will get as 1 minus e to the power minus t u of t, which is bounded. So this is bounded. 1 minus e to the power minus t u of t is bounded. So any input signal, this is also input signal, minus to minus t of t, but for this, the output signal is not unbounded, it is bounded. 1 minus e to the minus t is bounded. It will be something like this. Right. 1 minus e to the power minus t ut. This is t. This is bounded for the bounded input signal e to the minus t ut. Decaying, exponential decaying signal. So option D is also not correct, as the output is always unbounded. No, it is bounded for this input. Exponential decaying input. This is also incorrect. So that answer to this question is option B. It is possible to find a bounded input signal which will apply to S results in unbounded output signal S. As we showed or proved in the case of by applying the unit step signal for which the output signal is TUT, which is unbounded. So I hope the solution is clear and comprehensible. I explained all the possible cases by taking examples for the system linear time invariant system, continuous linear time invariant system S, and what option B is correct. Hope the solution is clear and comprehensible. If you still have any doubts or queries, please feel free to ask in the comments. And that's all for solution to this question. Thank you. Hello viewers. So moving to the next question and the last one in this is of GATE 2025 electrical engineering solutions from subject signal systems. Let's cover the solution details. Solution question number 61. This is 2 marks. Anything numerical answer type. It is based on filters, ideal low pass filter. We have to find the value of h of 0. The question is as follows: an ideal low pass filter has the frequency response given by h of j omega equal to 1 for mod of omega less than equal to 200 pi and 0 otherwise. Let h of t be its time domain representation. Then h of 0 equal to rounded off to the nearest integer. We have to find. It's a numerical value. Let's move on to solution for this question. It is simple actually, basically based on the frequency response. So we will draw the frequency response given for h of omega. So h of j omega is given as like this. Ideal low pass filter of bandwidth 200 pi. Unity gain. So we will first find the expressions for h of t using the inverse Fourier transform as like this. H of t equal to 1 by 2 pi minus infinity to infinity h of j omega e to the power j omega t d omega. So we put the value of h of omega as per the definition given. It is 1 for omega between minus 200 by 200 pi and 0 otherwise. So it will basically be 1 by 2 pi integration of minus 200 pi to 200 pi 1 to like 1 into e to the power j omega t d omega. Now basically we will just solve it. 1 by 2 pi integration of this becomes e to the power j omega t by jt, right? Limits are minus 200 pi to 200 pi for omega, right? To simplify this, we will get what? क्या मिलेगा हमें? सिंपल करते चलिए 1 by j 2 pi t, right, into e to the power j 200 pi t minus e to the power minus j 200 pi t. j theta minus e to the power minus j theta is what? j2 sin theta. So it will be j2 sin of 200 pi t by j2 pi t. j2 j2 get cancelled and we are left with sin of 200 pi t by pi t. Now we can see at h equal to 0, this will be a 0 by 0 form, indeterminate. So we have to take the limit 0. So h of 0 will be what? Limit t tends to 0, h of t. Otherwise there is no meaning. It will be basically nothing but limit t tends to 0. You can write this as sin 200 pi t by 200 pi t times 200. here, 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 200 into this limit t x tends to 0, sin x by x, sin kx by kx will be what? 1, right? So this is 200 into this value of this limit. This is 1. This is the standard limit of sin k theta by k theta form, but theta tends to 0 or t tends to 0 in this case. So 200 into 1, which is nothing but 200. 200. Right. Just have to put, evaluate the limit t tends to 0, h of t. First we found h of t using, the answer to this question is 200. It is already an integer, so no need to round it off. This is the simple answer, numerical value, correct one. So basically what we did is first found the expression of h of t using the inverse Fourier transform definition. Then we, as h of t is indeterminate at t equal to 0, we found the limit of h of t, t tends to 0, to find h of 0 as 200, which is the correct answer to this question, numerical value. So I have all explained it in front of the very basics and in detail to reach the answer and how to approach, if right from the first step. Hope the solution is clear and comprehensible, and that is all in the solution for this question based on ideal low pass filter frequency response. And also in this, for this subject, signal systems, I have discussed the solutions to all the 7 questions. Please go through each of them carefully, and I hope they are already well explained, but still if you have any doubts or queries, you are always free to ask in the comments, and I will be very glad to answer, to address your doubts and solve them, resolve them. So hope that will help. So that's all for the solution. Thank you.